Period, yeah. I don't really know what it's going to be about. As you can see there, at least I can see it there. I don't know if you can see this as well there, but at first I actually should. I should plug in the cable, because I do not want it to stop, especially not while I am streaming here. And this should be fine. Yeah, it is fine. That is amazing. That is good. I appreciate that. I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but no, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna turn off the vibrate thing. And I'm also really quickly making sure that I'm even streaming, because I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm not once again. It happened to me once. I was streaming, or at least I thought I was streaming, but in the end, it wasn't really the case. And yeah, no, not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna deal with that again, But yeah, what should I do there? Create clips, store past broadcasts. Done. Thank you. Link title. Okay, cool. And apparently it is working rather fine, but because of this fucking cable, there we go. I guess, yeah, this is way better. This is way better, even, if I do just have this chat thing in front of me, which is not that amazing, not that cool, not that great. I do not like it that much, but it is what it is. We are gonna go through. What are we gonna go through? I can't actually record now because it wouldn't make too much sense. Record a summary episode now because you can't see it, and if I'm just reading it and whatnot, I think it is rather useless and rather worthless as well. But I could actually as well. I don't even know if the quality is then better, or if this does even work. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna deal with that shit, Edit stream info. Does this update would actually be good? No, it doesn't. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's actually see what we can find here on Reddit. Oh, no. Daily Stoic. That is what we're gonna go through. The Daily Stoic. Let us actually see whether there is a new article, a new very good article. An article that we just wanna go through. We wanna talk about something that is worthwhile consuming. Social media, for example, top-notch stuff. It's not being hated at all. No. And I really dislike that. No. I'm fine with that, I'm fine with people just anyway. How to be happy, 11 strategies proven over the past 2,000 years. Coping with grief, dealing with stress, motivation. Are people still not motivated? Question mark. I don't know. Would actually be rather interesting. Would rather be interesting. But stress is always a thing, I guess. Stress is always something that, at least in my point of view, people have to deal with, and people are struggling with to some degree as well. So let's actually go through that. Let's actually see what the Daily Stoic is saying all about stress. Maybe there's something insanely amazing. I don't fucking know. Could be the case. I hope it is the case. It is normal to feel pain in your hands and feet if you're using your feet as feet and your hands as hands. And for human being to feel stress is normal. If he's living a normal human life, and if it's normal, how can it be bad. Stress is timeless because life has always been hard. In the ancient world, there were parents, there were bills to pay, people got sick, they got tired, and they had terrible bosses. They committed to too much. Some of them were overwhelmed by this stress, but others managed to find not only relief, but a formula for being improved by it. Which I think is kind of the ultimate thing, you know? Taking something negative, taking something bad, and being able to use it for something good, you know, transform it into something good, transform it into something that is serving you, is benefiting you. Difficult though, you know? Of course, you know, talking about it, saying it, it's very easy. But it quite isn't, you know? I would say. In this article, we're going to give you 12 time-tested and timeless strategies for stress relief. I do wonder, if something is time-tested and also timeless, do you really need to say both? You know? Do you really need to say that something is tested and also timeless? I don't know. Each strategy comes to us from the ancient Stoic philosophers who developed, tested, and proven them in stressful circumstances not unlike our own. This post is going to cover the high-level ideas. If you really want to get serious about slaying the stress in your life, we suggest checking out our course. There is a course. I didn't know there is a course. Let's actually see how much it is. In terms of money, you know, money that you have to pay. Buy this course. Create more a lifetime starting today. Would I like to do so? Well, yeah. I mean, $50. It's actually not that bad. Would actually also be interesting to see what it is. 14 actionable techniques, and over 15,000 words of all new content. I think that is actually fairly interesting. Saying, okay, I don't know, I could also be like, I have recorded in my lifetime a total amount of podcasting hours of, I don't know, in hours it might be I don't know, a month full of it. Could this work? I don't know. Can't I calculate that? We're having 1,600 episodes around times 20 minutes, which is 32,000 minutes. 32,123 divided by 60, 533 hours divided by 24, 22 days. It's actually a month. Fuck that shit. You know, quite a month. 3 weeks. 3 weeks of endless content, if you want to go through it. Can I suggest it? Well, I don't really know. But let's get back to the original article. Also, by the way, the design of the Daily Stoic, whoever is doing that, will actually be fairly interesting. It's very, very well done, you know. What causes stress? What are the best strategies for dealing with stress? What are the best Stoic quotes on dealing with stress? What are the best books for stress management? I don't know. As we will detail more below, the Stoics believed stress is optional. More recently, psychologists and neuroscientists have confirmed what the Stoics knew intuitively. Stress isn't something that happens to you or to us. And I would argue, and it is something that I've been talking about for a while now, that this is the case for quite everything that we are encountering. Meaning, if I'm encountering a situation, there is always a little tiny piece of space here in between situation and reaction. And this tiny little space is where I can decide what my reaction is going to be. Of course, I can react with being stressed. Quite. But let's actually see. As Dr. Cynthia Ackrell, a leader in the field of stress mastery, has put it, we have this concept in our minds that stress is something that happens to us. And this is that way it's discussed in our world, the way we talk about stress in conversations quite often. Something is happening to us, but this is actually a myth. We say things like, our boss is making us stressed. The project is making us stressed. The stake of dirty dishes is making us stressed. But nothing is making you stressed. Your boss, the project, the dirty dishes, Acrel continues, that is a stressor. Your boss may be a stressor. Somebody or something presenting a challenge to you. What is the real cause of stress? Perception. Here is Acrel once more. Stress is your physical and mental reaction to what you perceive is happening. And that is really important. That is a really important part of the sentence. Your reaction to what you perceive is happening. The majority of stress really does depend on perception. Whenever your perception doesn't meet our expectations, we feel stress. That's actually a pretty good one. A really good one. But you know what? I'm gonna take the risk. Since this is already a pretty good sentence, I'm gonna take the risk and do this. I'm gonna plug in my headphones because I would actually argue that the quality might be a tiny bit better and you can hear me a tiny bit better. Especially for those people that are on the stream right now. This might just be worthwhile, worthwhile me taking this risk. Quite. I do at least hope that it is better. But I'm gonna see, I'm gonna see when I'm editing this episode. So in the end, what we know is that whenever our perception doesn't meet our expectations, we feel stressed. Whenever this may be, but I think it is very useful to know that. And almost often things start with knowing about them, knowing things, understanding things. Well, actually, knowing things at first and then trying to understand it and then just, trying to work out a way in which you can deal with it quite. But everything starts with knowing about it, because if you don't know about it, you can't really do anything about that. As it is the case with, maybe you being or you having certain characteristics that people really dislike about you. But if you don't know about them, you can't do anything about it. You have to at first know about something before you can do something about that singular thing. As I would also argue, we all know, but still rather important to point out and rather useful to, sometimes just think about, meditate on, whatnot. What's the Stoics think about stress? You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, by Seneca. I'm actually going to skip this part, yes, which is actually also fairly short. And we're going to go straight into 12 proven strategies for stress relief. I could, by the way, can't I watch my own stream? But I'm still a bit... let's do it like this. Can't I watch this? Would actually be... There we go. Hello. Okay. I think it is better. Period. Yeah. So this is why we're gonna go ahead with using these headphones, Yes. Right. We were going through an article. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil, not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. Epictetus. So in the end, divide and conquer, this is the headline. I'm not going to go through the text, because in the end it is about this quote. In the end it is about realizing that certain things are not something that we can influence, something that we control, something that we can somehow alter, but rather these are things that are just how they are. And that is also good like that, because, I don't know, I would say that if we would be able to alter everything and change everything and do something about everything, this would not certainly be the greatest life. Because I think that mentally it would not be too good for us, because we then know that we could do so much more, but we're maybe not doing it. On the other hand, of course, how should it work? I mean, the weather, if I just think, okay, I just want it to rain right now, is it gonna just rain above me? Would actually be kind of cool. And also when it rains normally, but I wants to have some sunshine, that just above me there is no rain. Maybe on the other hand, there could also be like a public opinion thing. If a lot of people think like, okay, it would be nice to have sunshine, then there's gonna be sunshine. And when a lot of people think, well, it would actually be kind of great when it is snowing or raining or whatnot, then it is snowing or raining and or whatnot. Anyway, so this is what it's all about. Just not caring about the things that you cannot change anyways, yeah. Dissect the source. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. We must come to the realization, Seneca said, that there are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, which is 100% the case. So often we just think, okay, this and that and these and those is so tremendously bad or whatnot. But in the end, it's actually isn't quite. We spend so much time worried about how bad things are going to be. We torture ourselves more than the thing we're worried about ever could. That is, if it happens at all. So what I advise you to do is, Seneca continued, do not be happy before the crisis comes. We are in the habit of exaggerating, or imagining, or anticipating sorrow. But I would also argue, because he is saying, I have misread it, do not be unhappy before the crisis comes. But I would certainly also say, do not be happy before the feast comes, or the birthday party comes, whatever it may be. I don't know. Because if it is not the case, then aren't you gonna be unhappy? Aren't you gonna think like, well, I hate that, why isn't it working out in the way I would have liked it to? And so on and so forth. So I think in the end, just staying in the middle of things is always a good idea. We interviewed the Breakfast Club host Charlemagne the God a little while back to talk about Stoicism and his new book, Shook One, The Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me. His advice about stress and anxiety, you might think in the words of Seneca if he didn't tell you beforehand. What I would tell people who struggle with fear and anxiety is that it is natural. Just always try to be aware of the source of it. That is why I believe in rational anxiety and irrational anxiety. Rational is when you know why you are afraid and anxious. Irrational is when those thoughts just flood your mind and you don't know where they are coming from, so you're just scared and having a panic attack for no fucking reason. Use cognitive distancing. In his wonderful new book, How to Think Like a Roman Emperor, The Stoic Philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, cognitive behavioral therapist, historian and Stoic Donald Robertson charts the fascinating development of Marcus as a person over the course of his life. He artfully waves in his insights as a working co-therapist, into how we can draw from both the life and writing of Marcus to improve our own lives. In our interview with Robertson, he talked about some of the 2,000-year-old Stoic concepts that inspired many psychological strategies participated in the modern world. Yes, definitely participated, practiced in the modern world. Why is it actually shining through? Do you see that? Beautiful. In practice, therapists ask clients to imagine that they are wearing colored spectacles. If you believe the world is actually rose-tinted or dark and gloomy because of the lenses before your eyes, that is like fusing your beliefs with reality. Fusing. Realizing that the world isn't really that color, it's just the glasses, is like cognitive distancing. It is the difference between telling yourself life sucks and I am just assuming that life sucks. Because in the end, you see your thoughts and are in control of your thoughts, which in general is something actually pretty amazing and interesting and useful. Then there is the worst case scenario. Practice it, imagine it, get active, just do something, find a hobby, start journaling, read a book, stop caring what other people think, take a cold shower. Laughter is the best medicine. Meditate on your mortality, and that is quite it. With that being said, I'm gonna end the stream here. Wish you the best. See you soon. Bye bye.